What are the top 5 Fawlty Towers episodes?
This is it! I'm gonna give you a damn good thrashing!
Fawlty Towers was awarded the top spot for the greatest British programme of all time by the British Film Institute in 2000, and yet there are sadly only 2 series and 12 episodes. In this masterful sitcom, John Cleese portrays the unhinged and snobbish Basil Fawlty, manager and owner of a dysfunctional Torquay hotel. Basil's formidable wife Sybil was played by the equally brilliant Prunella Scales. Finally, Connie Booth portrays the level-headed maid Polly, and Andrew Sachs plays the Spanish waiter Manuel. With the help of users on imdb.com, this video will present the top 5 greatest episodes. Let's begin. In the last ever episode of Fawlty Towers, a health inspector threatens to close the hotel down after discovering the disgusting state of the premises.
Otherwise okay?
So the staff must clean up the hotel to avoid going out of business.
What is that? It's my hamster.
But heartbreakingly for Manuel, that also includes saying goodbye to his secret pet rat after Basil discovers him.
Well, of course it's a rat. You have rats in Spain, don't you? Polly, he take my hamster.
What?
Mr. Fawlty take my hamster. He crazy. He think he's rat.
But Polly helps Manuel keep his rat by concocting a lie that a friend wants to adopt him, but in fact they secretly hide Basil the rat in an outhouse.
Basil.
The episode inevitably becomes chaotic as the rat escapes and everyone frantically tries to capture him, initially without Basil's knowledge, and hope to prevent the guests, particularly the inspector, from finding him. This episode revolves around the unfortunate overnight death of one of the hotel guests, but when Basil sees Mr. Lehman in the morning to serve his kippers for breakfast, he astonishingly fails to notice he's no longer alive.
Oh, not at all. Thank you for mentioning it.
Eventually, a more diligent Polly visits him and is horrified to discover the guest's dead body.
He's dead.
Dead? Who?
Number 8.
An unhinged Basil concludes the kippers brought the man's death and worries the hotel will be closed, so he tries to conceal the evidence. Of course, as Polly points out, the kippers had nothing to do with Mr. Lehman's passing.
Oh, joy. Oh, thank you, God. Oh, isn't it wonderful? I'm so happy. Hooray!
But Basil still wants to keep the death a secret from the guests, so he decides to hide the body. Predictably, another resident catches the secret operation but gets knocked out by Polly. Mr. Lehman is moved to another room, then the office, then the kitchen, and then the lobby. The plot is quite a spectacular farce, even though totally unbelievable, but that's what we love about Fawlty Towers. This episode exposes the paranoia and anxiety that lies inside the Basil character. 2 doctors come to stay at Fawlty Towers.
You're 2 doctors?
Yes.
Well, how did you become 2 doctors?
As a snob, Basil is delighted that 2 highly regarded individuals have chosen to stay in his hotel, but when he discovers that one is a psychiatrist, he's fearful about being judged. At the same time, a very beautiful Australian woman stays at the hotel too, which leads to a very awkward encounter in the bedroom.
If you're going to grope a girl, have the gallantry to stay in the room with her while you're doing it.
With another guest booking a room for one, Basil correctly suspects that the man is secretly hiding his girlfriend with him. So of course, Basil becomes determined to prove his suspicions are correct.
It's all right.
What do you do? What do you want?
Please.
What?
Yeah, nothing. I didn't know she was in here. I just came in to check the walls. Do you mind?
Despite upsetting the guests, Basil won't relent until he spots the girl, leading to a gross misunderstanding with his wife Sybil, who thinks Basil is pursuing the Australian woman. One of the most demanding, rudest, but also most memorable guests that ever stay at Fawlty Towers is the obnoxious Mrs. Richards.
Good morning, madam. Can I help you?
Are you the manager?
I am the owner, madam.
What?
I am the owner.
The selectively deaf guest has very high expectations for her room, particularly the view, which she finds most unsatisfactory.
When I pay for a view, I expect something more interesting than that.
That is Torquay, madam.
No, it's not good enough.
But because of her refusal to turn on her hearing aid, Basil finds it very difficult to get his message across, causing a lot of confusion, which is thoroughly entertaining to watch.
Mrs. Richards, your glasses are there.
There? Well, who put them in there?
Her stubbornness makes her quite a match for Basil, but she's exceptionally easy to root against because she's so forthright. Later in the episode though, Mr. Fawlty finds a way to get revenge.
I said I should go! Is this a piece of your brain?
This story runs parallel with Basil winning a horse bet, but he must persuade Polly to help him conceal the truth about the winnings from Sybil, causing a laugh out loud moment when Basil has to mime the horse's name.
Small. Flying tot.
The greatest episode of Fawlty Towers must be The Germans. It begins with Basil's wife Sybil in hospital with an ingrown toenail.
Quite painful.
Yes.
Basil relishes the thought of running the hotel without her, but there are a couple of items on the agenda, the moose head and the fire drill. Inevitably, the running of the fire drill turns to bedlam as he accidentally sets off the burglar alarm instead, leading to the guests assembling downstairs.
Sorry, that wasn't the fire bell. Sorry, that was just the...
I thought there was a drill.
Yes, there is at 12 o'clock, but not yet.
Hysterically, he gets more and more incensed when explaining to the guests that the fire drill hasn't started, despite the noise of a bell. Manuel then starts an actual fire in the kitchen, a reality Basil's very slow to grasp.
Fire? What? Fire? 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 Where? Fire?
If the episode had ended there, we would still be calling it a classic, but the cherry on the top follows when Basil bangs his head, gets hospitalized for concussion, but checks himself out anyway just before the Germans come to visit.
The Germans, don't mention the war.
Basil is of course not quite his normal self, so he's unable to stop himself from offending the German family.
Will you stop talking about the war?
Me? You started it?
We did not start it.
Yes, you did. You invaded Poland.
Those are the top 5 Fawlty Towers episodes voted by fans. Here are some honourable mentions that didn't make the list.
Could you make me a Waldorf salad?
Your behaviour is totally incorrect.
What's your favourite episode? Please share in the comments, and if you like this video, please give it a like and subscribe. Also, why not watch one of our other videos on Fawlty Towers or other sitcoms? Thanks for watching and cheerio!